Hey guys, subscribe for daily knife content. And if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another really exciting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the CKF, or Custom Knife Factory, and Rotten Designs Evo 2.0. I hope I got that exactly right. It's a collaboration between Custom Knife Factory and Rotten Designs. Very cool. There's a lot of different, well-known makers, elements, aesthetics that kind of look like partially into this, but then it's also definitely doing its own thing. I was initially very visually attracted to this because of some obvious major ergonomic lines in here, and yeah, it feels, it has that melty goodness to it. We're going to talk all about that. First off, this was sent to me by Seth. Thank you very much, Seth, for letting me borrow this for review. And thanks so much to my generous patrons who are supporting me right now. You can find a link for my Patreon right down in the description. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and get through specs here real quick. Overall length. Now, this is actually the smaller one. The original was apparently huge, which I would kind of like to take a look at. But they're a little bit scarce right now. We'll talk about that. Overall length of this guy is actually coming in shy of 8 inches, which is just crazy to me because the presence of this thing, not in a bad way, it just feels like a big, powerful knife, right? So it's actually about 7.8 inches overall. Blade length is coming in at about 3 1/8 cutting edge. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. I'm sorry, that's dumb. 3.6 inches of blade. That's amazing on a 7.8 inch knife. And then we have about 3 1/8 inches on cutting edge. Sorry about that, stumble fest. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1, and of course its little brother, the Ontario Rat Model 2. So you can kind of see, it's the blade, right? The blade is this big, powerful, super duckbill thing. Yeah, it kind of gives this knife more presence, even though it's definitely shorter than the Rat 2 and other knives, or I'm sorry, Rat 1 and other knives like it. How about up against the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3? I think this is great. Obviously, we've got different designs here, but you can see, someone like me who's a big fan of the ergonomic lines in the PM2 and Para 3, you can see there we have similar intended finger positions for this knife, especially, like choke up points behind the blade, stuff like that. And last but not least, let's do the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and its little brother, the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. Similar, close to the same size as the Ritter Hogue, but dimensionally just very different. Shape, aesthetics, very different. Let's go ahead and do carry profile. So the blade on this guy is pretty thick, but the knife all the way around is really not all that thick. You can see there it's just slightly thicker than the Spyderco Para 3. Let's do length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. It is a fairly tall knife, but I think the PM2 still got it beat in terms of, it's really, really close. This is a tall boy this way, right? But, hey, that's why we do this. If you're used to carrying the PM2 and Para 3, or Para 3, and they're not a problem for you, then you probably won't care about the height of this guy. We'll talk about some other dimensions here in a second. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Let's get blade stock thickness. I'm going to guess that's 165 thousandths. Might be thicker, but that's my guess. Blade stock thickness is, yeah, almost exactly 165 thousandths. We're talking about XM18 standard thickness, XM18 3.5 inch thickness. Let's go ahead and weigh it. Actually, first off, let's take a look at the inside. We gonna work today, flashlight? Yay, we are. Good deal. Okay, so the inside of this guy, can we get in there? There we go. Can you guys see? There's some milling on the inside. Actually, on both sides, there's milling. So they did go out of their way to do some weight reduction there a little bit. Let's go ahead and get the scale. 5.5 ounces. That's my guess. Okay, 5.11 ounces, right? It's heavy. It's full titanium, right? This is right smack dab in the middle of my carry preferences in terms of size, weight, all that. In fact, it has a lot of qualities that I really like. This is definitely going to be too heavy for some people, right? It depends on what you're wearing. Do with that information what you will. Okay, let's talk about this thing. First off, where can you get this? How much was it? You can't get it right now. This was Custom Knife Factory. I would urge you guys to go to the Custom Knife Factory website. They've done some ridiculously cool collaborations here recently. In fact, multiple times they've hit home runs. Like, this is an expensive knife. These cost a lot of money, and it is justified. But if you're in this, you like the more expensive stuff, right? Go to their website, pay attention to them, go to their Instagram, right? Make sure that you're following, make sure that you're paying attention, because a lot of these knives, they do short runs. Maybe they do more than one, right? And then sometimes they disappear, which can be frustrating. I know. I'm kind of kicking myself for not jumping on this pre-order, right? Apparently they did 2 drops of these. Will they come back? I have no idea. But if they do, and if you're wanting to get one of these, then like I said, the best thing to do is go to the website, see if you can sign up for notifications, or just check it periodically, check their Instagram. I believe the original pre-order price for the base version of this was $590. Secondary market, oh God, these go for way more. Secondary market prices are off the charts right now. This guy, I've seen people talking about like $900, $1,100 for the original, the older big one. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is good. This is definitely a $500 or $600 knife, definitely. But don't go paying too much money for it. I want to point this out real quick. This pocket clip is not what it originally came with. This was actually a clip that was created by somebody it's an aftermarket clip. The original clip on this guy looks much like the finish on the titanium, but it's pretty much exactly the same shape. I don't notice any differences between the two in terms of the shape or how it interacts with my hand, so we'll kind of proceed with the clip mounted, and I just don't want to take it apart. Oh, we didn't do the hardware check. We got to do that because this thing has massive fasteners, and I love that. My tools, you can get them down in the description. Very inexpensive, very recommendable. I think that pivot looks like a T20. A big old T20. Let's try. Let's take a look here. Just be careful there. Yeah, that's a T20. Holy moly. These guys down here, I'm pretty sure are going to be T8. Let's check real quick. Why don't you check that before the video? I don't know, because I like doing it in the video. Ooh, that might be bigger. Hang on. Hang on. It's so weird. This is going to be one of those where... Here's the T10. Is it are these T10? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so T10. This guy right here is probably going to be, the lock bar insert screw is going to be a T8, but man, really, T10 pocket clip screws. Oh my gosh. Wonderful. It's a simple titanium frame lock build. It should not be difficult to take apart. Larger, deeper heads make that easier. That's great. Also, large fasteners look better. It looks better than this. Hate it. Big, robust fasteners. They just look better. Not on every single knife, right? But on these meaty boys, right? These overbuilt kind of titanium kind of thick boys. Yeah, oversized fasteners. They look great. Anyways, yeah, $590 for the pre-order. I should have jumped in on that. A lot of different options. In fact, the card shows like all the different types. By the way, this is M390 in titanium. How do I know that? Because right there on the blade, it says M390. And then they're numbered. But on here, you can see all the different, and that's, the designer was John Sorensen of Rotten Designs. You can see they did some M390 and some Damasteel variants. They did titanium, zirconium, carbon fiber versions, Timascus, Zircotite. They did a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So the basic versions were $590, but some of the, and I'm sure the ones that had the more exotic materials, there were very few of them, right? And those would obviously go for a lot more money. This one was made January of 2021. I believe that was the second drop. I could be wrong about that. Anyways, what an excellent knife. Let's talk about the ergonomic lines here. First off, choke back position. I'm actually really comfortable here. And what's funny is normally these little areas back here where it's kind of like an area for your pinky, but it feels like it's sliding off the end. Normally I'm like, yeah, I don't like that because I feel like I'm slipping off. It's actually really comfortable choked back. It's pretty comfortable. It's not the main highlight of the ergonomics here. The main highlight of the ergonomic areas is the choked up position. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I love that. Some people don't like the big forward shoals because it throws off the blade to handle ratio, right? I don't care about that. I'd much rather know that I can be comfortable and move my hands around and get into the position that I want. This area is huge. There's plenty of room for my finger. I can choke right up behind that blade, which I definitely like to do. The jimping, large, not super aggressive, though they have knocked this down quite a bit so that it's comfortable, whether you're wearing gloves or not. This thing kind of looks like it might be, you know, aggressive to your fingers because there's like jimping, right? It's all over the place. No, it's super comfortable, and they have absolutely knocked everything down, right? This is all nicely, look at these edges. Nicely knocked down. Also, look at the finish on this titanium. I can't say I've ever seen exactly that with these sort of horizontal lines, and then it's tumbled and it's kind of darkened. It looks nice. Some people might look at this through the camera and think it looks unfinished. Now, if you had it in hand, it's very finished. Very nice. There's contouring here too. This thing fills out the hand without, you know, needing to be really all that much thicker than the Spyderco PM2. It's kind of, the blade is this big, you know, aggressive, thick thing. And then the titanium is not ultra thick. So the overall, you know, thickness of it's not that crazy. But it still manages to feel incredibly robust and overbuilt. It's also nice and clicky. Have we talked about the action? Oh my goodness. Yeah, the action's great. It's false shut. But it's the type of false shut that's not like, okay, the blade is just big and heavy, right? It's just falling. No, it's nice and smooth. Disengagement is also very easy thanks to this area right here that's raised above the main show side of the scale and also knocked down, and it's got jimping on it. Very easy to disengage. Your thumb's going to fall right into that position or right into that little forward choil area, right? So you're not going to cut yourself. Detent on this guy is about medium, which I prefer on a knife like this that does not have a flipper tab. It makes deploying it just excellent. Disengagement, excellent. These stops right here, they're external stops, which is great. That's very similar to like the Hinder XM18s, ETO 562, a whole bunch of other knives, right? They can also be used as little thumb stud thingies, right? And you can do the reverse flick, right? And you can do the thumb flick with the hole, or you can do the Spidey drop thing, right? All this stuff is placed right. And I like that. Easy to engage. This hole here is nicely knocked down, so it's not going to bite into your fingers or shave your fingernails off every time you deploy it. Kind of like how my Strider 3/4 AR does that. The edges are really sharp. Not this guy. We've got kind of a two-tone blade here. Kind of the same finish on the flat as what's on the titanium. And then we've got the satin belt finish right here, which does look good. Guys, oh my gosh, the aggressive grind on this thing. This thing tapers to such a thin edge. It's crazy. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys that it's absolutely going to, you know, pass through every density of material with these, but that actual edge is very thin, right? If you're still going to have to push the whole thing. Like if you're cutting through thick cardboard, well, yeah, the edge is going to bite into it, but you're still going to have to push this big wedge through it. Will it do it? Sure. Will it slice? Absolutely. This blade shape is just, man, it's wicked ninja duck. It's cool. Big, all this belly, and then we've got this sort of reverse tanto sheep's foot, whatever the heck you want to call it. It does come out to a tip. So you have a little bit of a puncture tip, and there's a lot of material out here. So despite the fact that it does taper and get really thin, I would still call this very robust. The flat carries out about, what is that? 75%, 80% the length of the blade, something like that. There's also a nice little, well, we're not going to call it, that's not a switch. It's just the edges right here knocked down. Really nice. Nothing on there except M390 and then number 321, which is the number of the blade, right? There's nothing else on there. They put the CKF logo right here, which just looks classy, right? And then I'm going to guess that that's the Rotten Designs logo. I like that. I like that so much, where they just put the logo, they just carve it into some part, and it's just simple and straight. I mean, like, it depends on what your logo is, but in this case, the CKF logo and the Rotten Designs logo, yeah, it looks nice. It's there, but it's not like, you know, this big paragraph all over the thing like what Microtech does. Oh my God. This looks great. This looks really good. So something that I really like that they do, I noticed this with the what was the Resenti? Snafu. Well, there was the Snafu, and then there was the other. I can't remember. Anyways, they send you a whole bunch of additional hardware. Look at the bearings, by the way. There's a good look at the bearings. Woo! Lots of them in there. Yeah, they send you like the pivot assembly, extra screws. There's an extra lock bar insert. The little race things for the bearings so that they can ride on steel, right? That's so cool. It's an expensive knife. And these come from Russia. So if something were to fail and you didn't have spare parts, you'd have to wait for a little bit. Nope, they just send you a whole bunch of extra stuff. That's cool. I don't know if it's like that on every knife, but a bunch of the knives that I've received that were CKF collabs all had extra hardware. That's great. I wish we got that with everything. I mean, not every, but like these really expensive, like these knives that cost more than $400. Dude, yeah. Hinder sends extra stuff with his knives, right? I like that. But this, that's crazy. They send you another pivot, more bearings, another, what is this right here? I don't know what that, it's the stops. They send you extra stops. And the lock bar inside, it's just crazy, man. I love that. That's so cool that they do that. I like the pouch that it comes in, right? They send you a little, well, there's a cleaning cloth in there with it, but I'm not sure if that's the one that came with the knife. But anyway, I applaud that. I think that's really, really cool. You know, I mean, if you mess something up, well, it's okay. You got some extra stuff, right? Pretty neat. Anyways, action, detents, all that, disengagement, fantastic. I'm not feeling any hot spots. Back here, we've got an awesome gear pattern backspacer that does peek up a little bit over the back of the knife. I like that. That's how this is my favorite kind of backspacer. It looks nice. It's functional, right? It's part of the integrity between the two pieces of titanium. It's great. Pocket clip. It's pretty cool. It's kind of big. Functionally, it works just fine. Like I said, nice wide edges knocked down. Here's the original clip, right? Everything's knocked down the same way that it is on the rest of the knife. There's that continuous ramp underneath there. Let's just show you this one. There's that ramp underneath there, which it's a pretty thin space from the surface of the titanium up to the bill of the clip, but one hand, yeah, you can push it in and out of your pocket, right? If you've got a thick pocket seams, it might be a little bit more difficult, but underneath, the surface of the titanium, it's smooth and it's contoured, so no problem in and out. Carry depth, there's a little bit of meat sticking out, but not crazy. This is medium depth of carry. It just looks kind of long. I mean, it's like covering 60% of the knife here, maybe like a third, like 2/3 of the knife. I kind of want it to be back here, but that's just an aesthetic thing. I can't fault it functionally. I can't be like, it causes a problem. Like, no, it doesn't cause a problem, right? There's no mounting position on the other side, so this is righty only. Sorry about that, lefties. A lot of you guys asked about this hole. What's that hole? Did one of the screws fall out? No, the closed position stop pin is just kind of floating in there. I'm not sure why they didn't cover this, but I honestly didn't notice it. I mean, originally I didn't notice it. Now that I notice it, right, it's just a hole. So, okay. Everything's fixed into place, though. It's nice and solid, right? Look how big that closed position stop pin is. It's crazy. No blade play, up, down, left, or right, as is usually the case with knives that are full titanium and have external stops, right? I mean, any knife, this doesn't really matter what the stop pin setup is. It shouldn't have any blade play anyway. Centering, laser perfect, exactly what you'd expect. No detent, lash, wiggle, or anything like that. It's just fantastic. This is super cool. It's kind of stridery, right? But I like that. It's definitely doing its own thing though. I just really like this. Again, I can't believe that it's actually under 8 inches. It feels so much. If I were to just pick this up, right, just sitting there, I'd go, that's 8 1/4, right? It just feels so much more capable. It's just, there's more presence in the hand, right? And I think it's because these lines just melt your hand. The biggest thing here, I mean, aside from the aesthetic, the biggest thing for me are the ergonomic lines. They're so good. They're just fantastic. Have I mentioned the fit and finish is excellent? I mean, the machining and all this is just amazing. There's always going to be people going, I just don't understand. It's just titanium and M390. I can get that for yeah, if the design is one that does not require as much work, right, as much human interaction, if it costs less to make, it's gonna cost less, right? This is gonna cost more to make. There's more that goes into this, right? So, $590 is a lot of money. And that's, you're gonna, I mean, if you want one of these right now, you got to go to the secondary market. You're gonna pay a lot more money. But let's say these were available, right? $590 is a lot of money. $590, $600 will get you a lot of great knives in today's knife world, right? This is just M3, in this case, M390 in titanium, which are great materials. But stuff that I look for, right? They're gonna ask $600 for a knife. I'm not so focused on the materials. I mean, that's great that we've got that, right? I'm focused on all the other little extra things. And this knife has it. It just feels a little bit better, feels a little more solid, a little more precision, right? Little tiny elements here that are not present in a less expensive knife using the same materials. Yeah, this is freaking awesome. People who don't like more robust knives or heavier knives, because this is a little bit heavy, right? This is not going to be for them. Not everybody's going to love the blade shape or the profile. This is the type of knife that's a little more of a polarizing aesthetic, right? I'm sure now that I've said the Ninja Duck thing, people are not going to be able to forget that. Yeah, I love this. This is absolutely right up my alley. In fact, it checks a lot of boxes for what I look for in Excalibur, which is the term I use for the ideal folding knife for me. I have a whole series on Excalibur. You can check that out if you want more information on that, but this checks a lot of boxes. This is just awesome. I really like this, and because this is another very successful collaboration with Custom Knife Factory. And I know this was designed, I'm like giving more credit to Custom Knife Factory than I am the original designer, which again, right here, Joe Sorensen with Rotten Designs. It's just awesome, right? But it does make me want to pay attention even more now to Custom Knife Factory, because they just keep doing awesome things with awesome people. They keep churning out these amazing, interesting, unique designs, right? This is the type of stuff that makes me want to spend that type of money on a knife, right? Definitely. I really want to handle the larger one, right? But I think it's like, if they did another run, would I buy one? I'd think about it, but I'm so intrigued now. I want to see what else they do. In any case, this is very recommendable if you can get it for a reasonable price, or if they decide to do another run. Is it worth the money at $600? Yeah. Absolutely it is. I like this a lot, but not everybody's going to be, ready to fork over $600 for a knife. If you're in that territory already, right, you've experienced some other stuff. I've handled a ton of things this is right in my comfort zone for knives. I've got a lot to compare to at this territory, and this is right up there with some of my favorite stuff. So very recommendable. This is actually going to go in a couple of playlists. It's going to go in my most recommended knives playlist, and it's also going to go in my favorite knives of all time playlist, because this is just sick. I love it. Thanks again to Seth, who sent this in for review. This was really cool, man. I'm really happy that you let me take a look. Glad I got to experience this. That's going to be pretty much it today, guys. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.